Hi guys, we got what we wanted. The Ethereum ETF was approved, but there were certain events surrounding the approval that led to a major sell-off in the market and basically rocked us of our so anticipated Ethereum spot ETF pump. I'm gonna show you what exactly happened, and it might be something totally different what you believe. If you want to know where we are heading next and how I position myself in this correction, then make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, like this video, and activate the bell so you will never miss out on these really important updates. And now let's directly dive into it here. So first of all, we got yesterday the ETF approval as expected. There was not really a lot of things speaking against it, to be honest. But it looks like Gary Gensler did not vote for them for the ETF, but are we really surprised? I'm not really surprised. The most important takeaway point here is that the ETF is here and it will have major effects in the upcoming weeks and months to the market. And I also going to talk about a little bit more in detail what I mean with that in a moment here. So, but what was the reason that even before the approval, we started to drop massively to the downside? So I can tell you so much, it was a stupid news-driven event here once again. And the reason is China made a military drill and surrounded Taiwan with their military fleet. So they were basically encircling the island of Taiwan, and there's an ongoing conflict. Many of you guys know that. So that is a geopolitical issue that had again created a hit on the market, and that's why we dropped quite quickly, because from a technical perspective, there were some reasons why we went down. You know, you can, in hindsight, go back and now say, hey, yes, because technically of this and that, there were some technical indications that we potentially go down, you know. So, but the main reason was here the news that broke around China and Taiwan and led then to that small sell-off. So now when we're going into Bitcoin, you're going to see here exactly what I mean. You know, so we were about to break out of that bull flag here, and then the news broke and we saw then here this move to the downside back to the 200 moving average on the 1 hourly chart. And now we are trying to break above it and struggling for the time being. Again, this is around $67,600 right now. If we can reclaim that, that would be really positive for today, if we can manage to do that. Otherwise, I want to see that we hold the $67,400 level, because that is still a key area for Bitcoin to hold for the time being, because that was so basically recently, the point from where we rallied all the way up to $72,000. And I want that this level is holding for us as support, because that will give us the momentum to come at least back in direction of $70,000. So if we not reclaim the 200 moving average here on the 1 hourly chart, then maybe we get another smaller retest here to like $67,000. You see here every time when we came a little bit lower than that, here 66, then 66,600. So next time might be $67,000. So these dips getting smaller as more buying orders are coming in, with people recognizing the opportunity to buy below $70,000. So even if we get rejected, I believe the next time we just come here slightly to 67 and then break here to the upside and continue the trajectory, because there is technically not a lot of reasons why we should go much lower. You know, so you also see this on the other time frames. Of course, the 50 moving average might give us a little bit resistance on the way up here at $68,300. But let's talk about this once we're getting there. So here on the 4 hourly chart, also here you see why I wanted we move a little bit higher, because we just reclaimed the EMA ribbon here on this 4 hourly chart, and we're trading really nicely above the EMA ribbon. Then the drop yesterday led to a break under the EMA ribbon, and now we are holding on with a thread to the EMA ribbon overall before we flip this back into another downtrend, which we don't want to see. You know, so nobody wants to see that. So if we get today at least a push to like $68,000 to come back into the middle of the EMA ribbon, I would consider this highly bullish for Bitcoin, because that will basically signal us that over the weekend and early next week, we will have another attempt to move here in direction of $70,000. Lose the EMA ribbon and close a 4-hourly candle, the next two 4-hourly candles under the EMA ribbon, we most likely come back to like 64 and to liquidate all the longers that came in here on the way up, you know. So, and with late longers, what I mean is you should have longed all the way down here when we broke here at 62, but a lot of people actually came in when we broke $66,000, and that's why they have just below that their liquidation levels, you know. So that's what I mean. They came late into this move here. So now in hindsight, when we were at 72, it was not a bad idea, you know, from where they longed. But now we are getting close to the liquidation levels. So some people will just close at a loss or at break even, but some people will get liquidated down here if we get a move into these levels. So that, hence why I want to see rather a reclaim of $68,000 and continuation to the upside. On the 12-hourly chart, we are basically back at my entry of $67,400 more or less, that I had given a couple days back. So I gave that to you almost a week ago. So, and yeah, I will be honest, guys, I round tripped basically now this trade, you know. So remember, I got out the first time perfectly here at the top at 72. I should have left it there, you know, and instead I went in again at 70,900. So I did not close the trade because I still believe that we are coming here back up. But I'm watching closely right now what's going to happen with this current 12-hourly candle and the next one. If I see the next one starting out in green, I'm moving here back to like 68. I just let it run. You know, we will come back up, and I will keep DCAing as we go up, you know, to get closer to the current price, and then just let it run past $70,000. But I might reconsider my choice if we start breaking here under $66,000. So, but for the time being, we are still not looking so bad on the higher time frames, especially that we are not even retesting. Yeah, no, we did actually retest here the former resistance of this major bull flag here on the higher time frames. So as long as we stay above that downward sloping support line now, as long as we are staying above that, I would expect continuation to the upside. Now, what I meant with there were some technical things in alignment with telling us that we are going down here. One of them was that we stepped into this resistance block and got rejected from there, you know, already 3 days ago, you know. So now in hindsight, you can say, even though it was the news event that triggered that that correction to the downside here from roughly $70,000, you can say, hey, here was a candlestick pattern that told you here is a local top and we are going down now. Here on this 12-hourly chart, another reason was that we could not hold the golden ratio here around the $69,500 level, which was the prior all-time high. And now we are also just under a resistance level of $67,800 to $68,400. Yeah, if we can break here to the upside in the next, with the following 12-hourly candle, like I said, I believe that we are going back to $70,000. Here, the good thing is, here on the indicator side, that we are seeing already a turnaround. The stochastic is at the bottom. The RSI is going sideways and holding the 50% level. And every time when we are above 50% on the RSI means we are in bullish territory. So here also the RSI might get ready for a pinch to the upside, which means the sell-off and the correction might be already over or is close to be over. And we see the turnaround happening here in the next coming days. On the liquidation heat map, here you will see that we liquidated around $1 billion on that move down here. Something else that I want to mention next week is also an options expiry date again. Not massive. I think there's $2 billion or something. So just that you know that we need to be also carefully around the end of the month again. So here you see the hottest area closest to the price is around the $65,400 $300 area. So if we would break down all the way down here, so I could imagine that we get maybe a small quick flush down here, but then the price will come back up, you know, because that level is also here support. As you can see, we bounced off here, we bounced off there, we got close here earlier today to that level. So and also bounce here strong back up from there. So if we would get one more breakdown here into this level, I would be not surprised, but there will be a lot of bits stacked down here that will directly send us back. So that's what I had to say about that. And when we're looking at the funding rates, still the same thing, you know, so they got actually greener again. And that just shows you there's not a lot of leverage in the market right now. People are still on the sidelines and waiting, you know, especially after a drop like that. And there's so much more upside sitting right now on the sideline. And guys, don't forget, if you want to trade with me together, do this on BYBIT. You still get $30,000 if you use here the BYBIT link down below. And if you want to trade without KYC, go to Margex. Otherwise, if you are in the UK or in the US, use BitGet or Phemex. On Phemex, you still get around $9,000. I finally need to change that here. And on FAIRDESK, the highest bonus in the industry, $120,000. There you can copy trade me. All these links are in the pinned comment below and in the description under this video. So make use of them because you also support the channel with that, especially that I'm employed now 2 more people. So I would highly appreciate that if you make use of these links while you are trading. In other news, one of my trades is doing quite well, and that is here the LDO trade. So that is up 173, almost 174% right now, $2,300. I opened that yesterday exactly at the level where I told you at $2.23. So we just got here also a golden cross on the 4-hourly chart. So here we are looking good to push higher, especially if we close the 4-hourly candle here above $2.40. That is also a key resistance level, as you can see here. If we can close above that, we're gonna rally higher, and the next target would be here almost $2, $2.72 more or less. But I'm gonna show you later a proper LDO chart, $2.78 actually. So and I have here the $3 mark right now, roughly making $10,000 on this trade. So waiting here to quadruple the profit that I have sitting here right now. So again, we are on this channel really profitable with the trades that I give you guys here, even though technically you got stopped out on Solana. We also speak about this in a moment. But first, let's talk about the Bitcoin dominance, because that is getting a small bounce here to the upside. We should also not be really surprised by that with the current price action, but expect here potentially over the weekend another drop to the downside while Bitcoin is going up, because we have finally the trend shift with the Bitcoin dominance in relation to the Bitcoin price, where when the Bitcoin dominance is going down, the Bitcoin price is going up. So, and that is exactly what we want to see to determine if we are at the early stage of an altcoin season or not, you know, so we are definitely there already. So here, I can imagine that we are closing more or less the daily candle where we are sitting at, you know, and you see here this upward sloping trend line on the dominance. That was more or less one of the key trend lines telling us where the altcoin season is potentially going to start. If we get tomorrow a retest and we get rejected, consider this the start of the altcoin season, especially now that we have an Ethereum ETF. And then over the next coming weeks, we're going to see here the dominance dramatically going to the downside. USDT dominance is of course pushing it to the upside. I'm not surprised by that. So the only thing what we don't want is that the USDT dominance comes all the way back up to 4.75%, because that would mean Bitcoin is again at $64,000, $65,000. So what we rather want to see is, if I draw here also a horizontal line, so what we want is kind of like here. Oh, that's more or less where we are also sitting here right now, I would say. Yeah, so basically around the level where we are sitting at right now, I don't want to see this daily candle closed higher than 4.56%. I want to see here a rejection from that level by tomorrow. because once we're breaking above that level, I think that we're going to touch 4.74% and then actually see Bitcoin coming back to $65,000, $64,000. Now, Ethereum, what happened here? Ethereum overall is holding up quite strong because of the ETF narrative, which is good for us. We are also holding above the golden ratio here at the $3,576,000 level. But we got, of course, yesterday a nasty flush, you know, and I'm not going to lie, I had an Ethereum position that got stopped out. But I did not lose a lot, you know, so on that position. So because I thought we are touching $4,000, we got really close to it. So I held the position open. And when we came down, I did not expect that we drop under the golden ratio. And under the golden ratio was my stop loss. And yeah, that basically kicked me out of my trade that I had more or less from the top side of the golden ratio. So it was a small hit, you know, so but it happens, you know, you lose some, you win some. As long as you make sure that your wins are higher than what you're losing, you're fine. Here, as long as we're holding the golden ratio, I would really every single time re-long from here when we're dipping into the golden ratio. As long as we are not losing the golden ratio, in terms of opening a position, we are fine. Now that we have the ETF approved, even though we are not trading on the ETF Ethereum yet, and the drill actually stops tonight with China encircling Taiwan, because the drill is over 2 days, so that they started yesterday, so technically tomorrow they should stop. If they stop tomorrow, expect the market to pump back to the upside, and potentially Ethereum could then finally jump to $4,000 and maybe even past that. The only thing that's speaking against that is the stochastic RSI giving us here a sell signal, but I'm not giving that too much weight right now, because what we could see is something like this, you know, where we are seeing here a small cool down, and then we turn around and push actually past $4,000 and go higher. The RSI is also coming from overheated territory back down. We are now at 68, but regardless, there is a small bearish divergence, you know, so I don't want to neglect that. Look here and look then here in the price, you know, so there is a small bearish divergence. So if this bearish divergence would be playing out, then I guess that could take us back down to $3,400 approximately. But as long as we are holding the golden ratio, you know, so this is not going to happen. And so break the $3,570 level, and we are moving down to 3,400, and the bearish divergence here on the daily is going to play out with a retest of the EMA ribbon here. You know, so most likely it will look something like this. You're going to get a candle like this, come back up, continue to the upside. The daily Ethereum chart here, you see the this support level is also holding here right now at $3,700 to $3,725. Again, as long as we are holding this level, we should see continuation. If we come back down here to 3,600 from the trade that I given the other day, take this opportunity to trade this. So, and maybe some of you actually caught this here. Just a word of caution. Here you see that the stochastic is still looking a little bit unhealthier than on the other. No, sorry, it's also daily chart. I thought the other one is a 12-hourly chart. So never mind, guys, never mind. So here, basically the same thing. Here, the only thing that I want to point out is the volume profile. One reason also why we went lower is here was the longest volume bar on the VPVR. And you see here, the candle closes were all below that. You know, we had some wicks above that, but the candle closes were literally at the same level, all below that, you know. So, and once we are closing a daily candle above, here, without a wick, really with the candle body, expect Ethereum to explode and go much, much higher. I don't need to talk about that. So here, LDO. LDO, one of the layer 2 coins. Again, if Ethereum spot ETF narrative, that's why a coin like this is running right now. Here, once we're breaking on the 4-hourly chart, this downward sloping trend line, expect that we rally here to $2.67, $2.78 as the next level above that. If you are late to the trade, right now, wait for a break of this downward sloping trend line and get at least a 1 hourly candle above that trend line before you enter. And then you can trade this also in direction of $3. That's how long I would hold that. So maybe we are forming here a cup and handle pattern. So I also want that you are aware of that, where we get something like this, and then you have here the handle, and the breakout of the handle is more or less coinciding with the downward sloping trend line. So just something to bear in mind here. But overall, the indicators are bullish. And if we get a rejection from this level here, you might get another chance to buy at $2.30 or $2.37. That might be then the next buy range from where I would long that. Then one of the other coins I'm trading right now is WIF. WIF is usually a really strong coin. Overall, we have here this downward sloping trend that we need to break. We had here the big falling wedge that we were trading in, and we are now back at the downward sloping trend line of that. The indicators are telling me all that we are starting to be getting back into bullish sentiment for WIF. That's why I opened a new WIF trade. On which platform did I do that, guys? I think I did it on Binance, so I cannot show it to you. That is a trade that I'm going to add to the spreadsheet. So look out for that. I went a little bit, I went in at 280. So I'm slightly in profits here right now. A little bit. So what you see here, the stochastic is at the bottom, MACD is losing momentum on the sell side, RSI is slightly pointing up. So there is a momentum shift to the upside, and we're going to see that especially when we are breaking here this downward sloping trend. So you're not too late to the trade. If you want to play it safe, wait for the break of this downward sloping trend line at around $2.85. 50 minutes candle close above that level is where I would enter that, and then you could trade this to $3.68. That's also my personal target here. Solana also trying to break back above the $168 level. We technically on this trade got stopped out regardless where you took the trade. So I called this all the way back here at $170, and you should have trailed your stop loss. So that trade is closed. If you want to re-enter this trade, again, wait for $170 to re-enter this to get another chance to trade this to $200. So if you want to play it here, again, really safe. Same play here again, downward sloping trend. You want to wait for the break of that at $172 approximately, and enter there with a 1 hourly candle, 30 minutes candle above that level. The next one is Fetch. So also a nice move to the downside because of Ethereum stopping to go higher. Here also downward sloping trend line you want to see to be broken, and a reclaim of $2.33 before entering that with a 30-minute candle here between $2.33 and $2.37. That's where I would enter this, because the indicators here also telling me that we are starting to get ready to move here back to the upside. The wicks getting smaller and smaller, which is also showing us that there is buying happening and trying to push the price back to the upside. And the last coin is COTI that I'm going to talk about today. Here we got a rejection from the downward sloping trend line. Now you see why I said wait for a candle close above that level, and we did not get a proper candle close here. Now would I enter at a lower level? Potentially yes for that trade. So you could technically enter either at current prices or all the way down to like 13 cents and 2 in that area. And so that's where I would enter this. Let me just draw here a quick line. So here, that is your zone where you would enter this with a stop loss at 12 cents and 2. So just that you know, that is like a 4% stop loss, but the upside is massive. So once this is breaking to the upside, we're talking about a 38% move potentially to the upside against, 7% stop loss. So here, don't over leverage yourself. Use maximum 5x leverage. 5x leverage gives you almost 200% to the upside and 35% stop loss. So be careful with that, guys. So if you want to play it really safe, once again, wait for the break of this downward sloping trend line at 14.3 cents here right now, but then also you're looking at 20% to the upside here, even though your stop loss is then quite smaller. But here I also see momentum shifting back to the upside after that move to the downside, and that might be also happening in the next couple of hours. So that's hence why I'm looking at an opening a position here. And guys, that's it already for today's episode. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the on-chain summer based on the Ethereum ETF. So if you want to make here a lot of money on coins that are not listed on major exchanges, tomorrow you should definitely not miss out on that. And otherwise, don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'm going to see you then tomorrow.